All right, let's call the meeting to order at 6:04 p.m. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon, Porter Ranch. Thank you for coming out today to our first Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council in-person meeting. We did it. We're here. And give us applause for that. It has been a challenge to meet, but we are here, and I appreciate everyone's patience for actually being here and last 3 years going through COVID. We're in person. We're hoping to have an in-person actual location within the next month or so you'll get an email in following days. I also want to thank Jason for speaking to the library and getting us permission to meet here today, especially with the circumstances we have. It's a quick 2023-2024 budget meeting and a few time-sensitive items we just have to pass before we have to leave here before 8 o'clock. We do have a few board members that most of you have not met, and I want to let them introduce themselves to you. You want to start off with Dr. Bright?
Name is Bright. All right. I don't know what else to say.
What do you do?
I'm a rocket scientist.
Huh?
Rocket science.
And, I live here all my life, Porter Ranch. I've been here since 1997 or 96.
Thank you.
So,
And Christine? Go for it.
Hello, I am Christine DeMerchant. I am a realtor, and my family and I own restaurant brands. I do the real estate for those brands. I live here in Porter Ranch with my family. I have 2 little kids under 2, and that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Hilda?
Hello, I'm Hilda Sarkisian, and I'm a realtor as well with Keller Williams. I've been listing and selling homes since a long time ago, like 33 years. But I do live in Porter Ranch, and I also work in Porter Ranch. And I'm healthcare advocate, and that's it. So and I'm here.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted them to introduce themselves as they were elected on the board during COVID. This is their first in-person meeting. And I want to start off by saying this meeting is being recorded, and the recording will be uploaded to our YouTube page as well as our webpage. Each stakeholder has 2 minutes to make a comment on an agenda item. And if you want to make a public comment, it's item number 9. Please raise your hand and we'll call on you to make a public comment. Note that comments cannot exceed 2 minutes, and due to Brown's Act, board members will not be able to answer your questions or answer your comments or comment on your statements, as they may be a part of future agenda items or discussion. And without wasting any more time, let's start the meeting. Secretary or Becky, please do a roll call.
Okay. David Balin, he's absent. Okay, at the moment. Hilda Sarkisian,
Here.
Jason Hector,
Here.
Becky Levesque, here. Jennifer, absent. Christine DeMerchant,
Here.
here. And Gabriel Common.
Here.
Okay.
So
We have quorum.
we do have quorum. Thank you. Next item is Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand.
Oh!
Yeah, Dr. Bright. You forgot.
Raise your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Did you sign
This is
it?
yours.
Did you sign? Okay, thank you.
Or use mine. Whatever mine are. All right, next agenda item is updates from representative elected officials, city departments, and city attorney.
Hey everybody, I'm Colin Cruz, District Director for Councilmember Lee. I've got 3 things for you. I'm trying to do them all from memory. First of all, the council members' catalytic converter motion passed, which makes it a misdemeanor crime to be in possession of a catalytic converter without proof that you bought it or proof that it belongs to your car. As I'm sure everybody's heard in the news, it's been all over the place. I literally heard it on NPR this morning. Catalytic converter theft in the city is up astronomically over the past couple of years. And of course, they're very easy to steal, particularly on certain model vehicles like Toyota Priuses. Folks can literally get under there and take it out in like 2 minutes and be gone. And it's the repairs cost thousands of dollars, take people's cars out of commission, obviously making it difficult for folks to get to work. It can really start a chain reaction in somebody's life that will have serious negative effects. So that passed now, so if for whatever reason an officer was suspicious of they made a police a traffic stop, for example, we look in the car and there's numerous catalytic converters in there, they're going to have to show where they came from, a receipt or matching proof that matches the vehicles. So that was a big win, and like I said, it's been in the news quite a bit. For the board, I sent you all a save the date for our upcoming Conversations with Councils, which is on June the 20th. I can't announce who the guest speaker is going to be, but I think everybody will be very interested. As soon as that's all locked in, we'll get another email, and I hope all of you can make it. It's going to be a really great Conversations with Council. And then last but not least, and near and dear to my heart, our office has retained our own homeless outreach team.
Yay.
And they're contracted through Volunteers of America Los Angeles, who runs our Travel Lodge facility in Chatsworth. So now we have 2 individuals that respond to my calls, senior lead officers' calls, LAPD's calls, and I'm able to dispatch them to go check on an individual, usually like within minutes. Last week we had an individual out at Devonshire in the 405. While the cleanup was being performed, she decided she was ready to accept help. One of our SLOs was out there, called me, I texted the team. They were there in 20 minutes. There was a room available at Travel Lodge, and she's inside. And that's really, having that ability to be nimble and act quickly is so important because, frequently with LASA, I know they're doing good work, but it's a huge organization, and sometimes it's very hard to get people dispatched on a timely basis. You can put it in LA Hop, they might get there in a couple of days, if you're lucky, might be a week. And also you don't get a lot of information back from them regarding who they're encountering. Another great thing about this program is we're getting all that information back. We're finding out who's out there, what their barriers are to housing, accurate counts on how many folks are at specific locations. So I'm real excited. It's been up and running for about 6 weeks now, and you know where to find me if you the great thing about it again is, I'm used to get a phone call saying, no, there's a gentleman outside the 7-Eleven, can somebody check on him? Well, it was like turning a ship around to get, somebody out there quickly. So I'm as the person that handles homelessness for the office, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
And hoping, it's already borne fruit, so I'm really happy.
How full is Travel Lodge right now?
It's full.
It's completely full at this point?
Yeah, both the Travel Lodge and Quebec Center run pretty close to capacity. Obviously, the Travel Lodge, because it's a private room, people are more desirous of that situation than the more congregate style living that's at the Quebec Center. But the Quebec Center usually only runs with the tops, I'd say, 5 open beds. So, we're filling up the beds that are available. It's just very thankful that we had one open for this lady last week.
And when's the next stop after Travel Lodge?
Well, once they get to Travel Lodge is interim housing. So at Travel Lodge, they're able to get folks stabilized, right? Help them get whatever sort of paperwork they might need, an ID, see if they're eligible for any sort of government assistance, like if they're already eligible for like Social Security or disability benefits. So they get them set up and ready. And also, there's they offer job training, mental health care if they need it, substance issues, substance abuse treatment if they need it. So essentially what intern housing does is it sets folks up to be able to take that next step, which is into permanent support or just permanent housing somewhere. you know, I mean, you know, the final step isn't always into some sort of subsidized, you know, permanent supportive housing. Sometimes once you can get folks inside and get them stabilized, you know, family members might come forward, might be willing to help again. So there's lots of, you know, there's lots of places folks can go after interim housing. That's what they do at Travel Lodge.
Thank you.
When can we go in to visit you guys? When Mitch was there, he used to invite us to go in the office. So when are you going to invite us to go in the office?
The office is open, but we're open by appointment. We're taking appointments.
But no invitation like before.
You mean like it's like an event?
Open house?
Oh, like an open house?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we've talked about. Obviously, we're just now kind of turning the corner on, you know, getting back to life life as we knew it. But you know, we're always looking for opportunities for some sort of art kind of show, something like that, where we can have folks in.
That's good.
It gets really hot in there when there's a lot of people in there.
La silla.
But it's good, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
No, la silla.
Huh?
La
The
silla.
Cena off-ramp is open.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We worked diligently with our state colleagues to, you know, help them through the permitting issues and all that. That seemed to be a bit of a challenge for the contractor, but we were all happy and relieved to see it fully functional again, or mostly
Exactly.
functional again.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
You're next.
Housing, I have a question about housing for the youth who were in foster families, in foster homes when they turn 18, they're kind of on their own. Are there
So
any
that's
housing advantages for them? I heard they're working on it.
Yeah, we are. That's called the TAY program, Transitional Age Youth. And we were working with Volunteers of America on a TAY program that kind of got detoured when the world stopped a couple of years ago. But that is something, you know, as I'm sure you know, Becky, you know, that's something that's very near and dear to council members' heart. You know, we need more TAY beds citywide.
Do they, my mother and father took in probably 50 foster children.
Wow.
And they never made them leave. But my question is, do they have to pay for housing when they're 18, or how does that work?
Not if it's through like a.
If
not
they don't
if-
have money, I mean,
No, not if it's one of these TAY beds. I don't believe that they have to pay for them. Like again, I think it's more like the interim situation where you're trying to get folks what they need to then get out and be successful.
do they
on
get
their
money
own.
from the state, or how do they
I
buy
think
food?
it is state funded, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
have a question.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
go ahead, bro. Sorry.
On the homeless, you said it started 6 weeks ago. How many can you say you have put in your care?
Our team, I'd say 3. Now, but cut them a little slack because there was once they've been there for 6 weeks, but they had to get trained by LASA to be able to do all the programming, to get people into the system, etc. So you know, a lot of our issues in CB12 also are folks that are living in RVs.
Yes.
And the folks that are living in RVs are particularly, you know, more service resistant because, you know, they've got shelter. They've got a form of shelter. It's not in any way, shape, or form ideal, but they do. And so you know, it's hard to get somebody that's willing to leave, you know, their vehicle, their RV, and give up that RV too. Because if we can't get them off the street, you know, I mean, just as anecdotally, you know, a few years ago before COVID, had a gentleman we got housed out of an RV, like really exciting stuff to get somebody to accept housing and Travel Lodge. But then he was renting out his RV to somebody else. So the folks at Travel Lodge,
Moving on.
so the folks at Travel Lodge were like, hey, this is sort of defeating, you know, part of the purpose here, and they allowed him to move his RV until they could into their parking lot until they're able to figure out how to appropriately deal with the RV. So it's difficult with folks in RVs, but hey, you know, even if it was the only one person that we got off the street in the past 6 weeks,
Yes.
I'll take it.
Right.
I'll take it. Anything else?
Okay.
She has a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, 2 things. First of all, do you have a status on the ET Park renaming? Because we would all love to see it, I'm sure. And 2, I sent an email, Patty Good, to Mr. Lee and other electeds about two important issues about Lisa Canyon coming up, and so he should receive it. Senator Stern is working on it from his end, and he's planning on doing a letter, and he would love to see the city and county sign on to it, but it would be great if the city also takes some action, and very important about Lisa. Thank you.
Absolutely. I mean, as you know, the council member has called for the closure of the facility. As far as E.T. Park, I know we hit some, I'm not sure where that is landed at this point. We hit some snags with the Park Commission having issues with naming it after a movie, not a person, place, or thing. So that's something we were very excited about too.
We are too.
And we're still working on it. My
Can I
colleague
say
Murph is working on it. Yes, ma'am.
Some people that are living outside, they don't want to go back to condominiums because they say we are outside, we can drink, we can eat, we can do whatever we want. If we go to a condominium, they will tell us don't do this and don't do that, and they refuse to leave to go to their condominium again.
Talking about
Homeless.
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 I mean, look,
That's true.
it's a.
They
you know,
don't want to go back.
You know, none of these things are easy fixes. If they were, they'd be fixed. You're right. Some folks are service resistant, and there are rules. You know, there are rules at Travelodge. There's rules at the Trevec Center. There's rules at our safe parking location. And you know, some people,
Yeah,
don't
They don't want
want to do it.
no.
You know, and that's where the repetition becomes so important. And when I say repetition, I mean sending our outreach teams, and I also mean sending the sanitation teams as much as we possibly can. Not just to, obviously keep our public rights of way clear, but, when the sanitation teams go out, for example, I had the same lady I was just talking about. Part of the reason she wanted in, she's like, I'm sick of moving my stuff every week when you guys come out here to clean. Well, if that got her off the street, then I think that's good. But you're right. There's lots of impediments to folks accepting housing.
Any other questions?
Oh, no more
Comments?
questions.
Well, thank you, Colin.
Thank you
I
all.
appreciate
Thank
it,
you,
as
Colin.
always. And you're sticking around
I'll
about
be
an
here
hour
again.
ago, probably, so. Sounds good. And Jennifer just walked in.
Hi.
She's a new board member. If you want to say one or two words real quick. Not
One or
putting you
two
on the
words,
spot.
okay. I've been on the board for almost 2 years. I had one child and now I have two. So that was great. The last 5 months or so I had another child. I have a doctorate in pharmacy. I went to USC. What else? That's about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to the next agenda item is updates from LAPD, Devonshire Senior Lead Officers. I don't see any here, but Mickey, do you want to add anything on behalf of them?
Can I just make announcements on community
Go for it.
events? Thank you. Thank you, Nikki Roy, a volunteer with Devonshire Division. First of all, there's National Night Out is coming up August 1st, Tuesday, from 6 to 6 p.m. to sundown, and our senior lead officers would like to invite Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council to participate in the event again.
When
We'd like to, the event will take place at the Northridge Recreation Center on 18300 LaMarche Street. Yes. So I sent you an
Yes, I
email,
got it.
but so we'll be in touch with each other.
Yes.
Hopefully you can participate. And there is a, Devonshire Division's been, our senior lead office has been holding monthly retailers meetings. And the next one coming up is June 6th, Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. It's a Zoom meeting. So I will, I've been behind in my emails, but I will send you the information so you can share with the retailers in the area.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Sorry. No
The
questions?
retailers
One
meeting,
question.
will it
Yeah.
address the, I wouldn't say thievery, the gang stuff that's happening, Aaron's gangs?
So these are for retailers in the area, so if those are the questions that they have for the officers. And I believe they do have now a organized crime task force for the retail stores. I think that is more from downtown. I'm sorry, I don't have the details, I don't want to speak, but that may come up at the next meeting for the, at the retail.
Vicky, what is the next, the Devonshire meeting? The
Which,
next
you mean the basic carnival?
basic
For the Port Orange area east of Tampa is A35, and that is usually the second Tuesday of the month, 6 p.m. at St. Euphrasia. And for the area west of Tampa with A23 with Officer Corral, that is usually on the last Saturday of the month, but this month he had it already last Saturday.
Yeah.
It's a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
a Zoom
Zoom.
meeting. I'm sorry, A35, St. Euphrasia is in person, and Officer Corral is a Zoom meeting. So if you could download the LAPD Devonshire app, the meetings usually are announced there, or you can write to the officers and ask them to put you on their email list for notifications. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on. Item number 8 is updates from Chatsworth Port Orange Chamber of Commerce. I don't see anyone present here, so we can move on to public comments.
Of course, thank you.
You're number 1.
Of course. Anyway, I hope you guys won't get mad at me, but, okay, I want to
Tell
address.
us your name.
Oh,
I know who it is, but not everybody.
Patty Glick, formerly of the Lisa Canyon Health Study Community Advisory Group and that kind of stuff, and Rabble Rouser here. Anyway, so I want to address what happened at the March meeting of the board. Currently, the California Public Utilities Commission is considering a staff proposal to permanently shut down the Lisa Canyon gas storage facility through decreased demand for the use of gas by carbonization and the use of alternative forms of energy. In January, this board saw an excellent presentation about the proposal and agreed to form an ad hoc committee to urge the city attorney's office to sit in support, as ELISA does affect the health and safety of city residents in San Fernando Valley, especially those of us here. To this end, Brandy Grace wrote a letter to John Lee with the hope that the board would approve it, but at the meeting, she was met with a selective amnesia about the purpose of this letter. And additionally, one board member said it was written by the CAG. And yes, she did ask some of us who used to be on the CAG to give her suggestions, but she was the one who wrote it, and in my opinion, the reaction in the meeting was disrespectful to her and to the former CAG meetings. And in March, some said they wanted community input on the letter, but isn't that the purpose of these meetings, to give an opportunity for community members to give input on important issues? So I would hope by now that the board and residents acknowledge that while ELISA remains open, it remains a seismic fire and health danger to those of us who live here. And in the past, the PRNC and the City Council gave written support for both SB 380 and SB 57. This proposal will give the state a roadmap to close ELISA for good, protect those of us who live here, and still maintain energy reliability. But the commission needs to hear from all of us and from our elected officials to make this goal happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Next public comment?
Well, I have
Floor is
concerns. I'm Judith Merle, friends. I'm a homeowner, and tell me if this is appropriate to bring up now. I am seeing Tuscany deteriorating. I don't know who does the walk, but when I do my walk, there are faded doors, there are trees that are dying. It's,
Is it more of an HOA situation or on the public streets?
well, HOA.
Okay.
We're not here for that.
No.
No.
I'm leaving right
Do I
now.
have
It's HOA. Is it HOA?
That's HOA, yeah, that's Tuscany
We
HOA.
can point you in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
Would that be Tuscany HOA?
Tuscany HOA would, yeah.
Okay, where am I now?
We're
Port
Port
Orange
Orange Neighborhood
Port
Council,
Orange Neighborhood Council.
which we handle everything out of the HOAs.
Or the city
The city.
issues with the city, rights of way and broad issues throughout the.
Thank you.
Thank you,
For
HOA.
coming.
But,
You don't have to leave. Sit
Well,
down.
you're welcome to stay at the meeting.
Oh,
You don't have to leave if you don't leave.
So-
No.
Exactly. Any other public comments? No other public comments? All right, let's move on to item number 10, treasurer's report.
Okay, So not much going on, except that we have net available $20,252. We're able to roll over 10,000 of that, and the deadlines are coming very quick, 20,252. And the deadlines are fast approaching. Am I right, Brian? You know for sure the deadlines for the check issuance are still June 1st.
June 1st.
Is the last day that we can issue a check. So that means any work we're doing NPGs by check, June 1st, and 15th.
20th.
Oh, the 20th for the debit card. So if a vendor can accept the debit card, then we have up until the 20th, which is actually good because we have our last meeting before that. So we could potentially, but we're like right down to the wire here. Obviously, everybody knows that. And I think that's pretty much it. We're going to talk about the MERs and the budget later, but I don't know if there are any questions anybody has regarding the account.
Okay. Are you sure we're rolling over 10,000? Is
Yeah.
that a final number?
That's already in the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. With no further questions, let's go to item number 11. Jason?
March MER? Sure. And I put one copy for the board if we need it, and one copy back there. Let me pull it up real quick here. Okay, so March, the expenditures were just the storage unit, the Apple One for note-taking, and then Wendy Moore for our website and other outreach. And that's it. So any questions on the expenditures for March 2023? Okay, I'll make the motion to approve it.
All right, I'll second it.
Okay, call for the vote. David Balin, absent. Hilda Sarkisian,
Yes.
Jason Hector,
Yes.
Becky Levesque, yes. Jennifer Abraham,
Yes.
Christine Demercian,
Yes.
and Bright Erics,
Yes.
and Gabriel Conley.
Yes,
Okay, motion passes.
thank you.
Okay, so the next one is the April MER. And the expenditures on there are storage, the SD card, $25, the name badge, $27, and then the bill for the constant contact, so we went ahead and renewed that. Is that for 6 or 12 months?
Every 3 months.
3 months worth of okay, yeah. So that's our outreach email, constant contact, and then Wendy Moore for 742.
Would that include the designing of the
Yeah, it
banners?
was more because they designed that banner that you guys were working on. So thank you for all that. I'll make, any questions on the email?
Call the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the April 2023 MER.
Thank
Okay,
you, I'll second it.
and David Balin is absent. Hilda Sarkisian?
Yes.
Jason Hector?
Here, yes.
Becky, yes. Jennifer?
Yes.
Okay, Christine Demercian?
Yes.
Gabriel Conley?
Yes.
And Bright Erics?
Yes.
Okay, and
Motion passes.
you were too.
Yes. And motion passes.
And the motion passed. Oh,
Thank you. Item number 3, Jason?
Okay. So item number 3 is the discussion regarding the community improvement project, doing the work in the parks.
13.
13.
Yeah, 13. So several years ago, we did a big project in the parks. I think we spent almost about $9,700, and we covered mostly Limekiln Canyon, the northern section, and the southern section. Then the Saddle Ridge fire came after that. And luckily, those areas didn't get impacted, but the area that did was the middle section, kind of nearby, like across from Wilbur Tampa Park. So that's the section that we really want to target on this project. As long Tampa is pretty bad too, so we want to see what the city's going to do in terms of the brush clearance. But they generally just do about 10 feet off the sidewalk. So the idea is to do more than what they do because the fire doesn't, mind those 10-foot boundaries. So I put these together because when we submit, we circle kind of the areas, the work areas that we're looking to do. But we have three main parks. You can pass those around. We have three main parks in Porter Ranch. We have that we're looking to do the work at. So Limekiln Canyon, Wilbur Tampa, and then Aliso Canyon Park, which we didn't get to do any work there last time. I've been working with the councilman's office, and they've agreed to match funds. And if you guys want to see, there's copies in the back too of those maps. Basically what happened last year is we had this all approved through the board, but it didn't ever happen because the company didn't have enough insurance to cover, and so we couldn't get the right of entry permit. And then we ran out of time. So this is the problem. Brush record season is right now, and we're under the gun to try and get this done. So, like I said, we got the matching funds that the council office is going to do, which is based off what they were going to agree to do last time. So they're still agreeing to match funds on this project. So together, with the $7,250 from us and a matching funds from them, we can get 3 days of work. Okay, and the idea is to kind of schedule it after the city has come through and done their work. Then we would do like additional, and this is getting like the large kind of stuff that totally burned out. Some of the trees just totally burned out and they're growing now from the bottom, but you still have all this dead stuff around. So the idea is to remove the dead stuff, let the new trees grow, and then also trim up from the ground up so that you don't have the risk of the fire starting in the weeds and then getting up to the canopy of the tree. So that's the idea with the project. We're going to be doing a site visit. If we get this approved, we'll be doing a site visit with Recreation of Parks, identifying exactly what areas we're going to work on, this and not this, so, because it's ultimately up to the Recs and Parks. They're the ones who are going to decide, what can be done. But, they're happy that we're coming in, and we chip everything and leave it on the ground, as mulch, and that keeps the weeds from growing up. So that's kind of the scope of the project. The idea this time was to transfer that money to a special account. So a special account is within the city clerk's office. Each neighborhood council actually can allocate to a special account for special purposes. And if you go on their website, you can see there's a lot of these accounts. Some of them are for like cleaning streets and other specific projects. So the idea was to allocate this to the special account. That way we can expense this, maybe want to do one day before or one day after, or maybe everything will occur after because our fiscal year is about to end and we're under the gun with these deadlines. So that was the idea, to move it to the special account. That way we could roll over the 10,000, have that already allocated and get the work done, after we get the permits and, everything is scheduled and ready to go. So that's the way the motion was written. I reached out to Gibson to try and get them to confirm that the language is good. And Gibson, what happened? He couldn't get back. He left a message, I think, with Gabriel that he's not going to be able to make it. And I think you had a question. But the idea was to have an answer in the morning, And so last week I was emailing him. He was going to work on it. So I just did the best I could with the language. So the language that I came up with was motion to approve $7,250 for dead wood and brush removal in Limekiln Canyon, Wilbur Tampa Park, and Aliso Park to be transferred to PRNC special account for brush removal. So that's the language.
That's good.
So and I can make a okay. And then
Got the
thank you,
motion,
second
we got
the
the
motion. Okay, good. And then we can open it up for board or members.
Any comments or questions? Board members?
Let's vote.
Nicholas? Assad?
Yes. Thank you, Jason. I highly recommend you vote yes for this. The community has always got a lot of work, and Jason, thank you for doing all that and getting all after everybody to get the money and getting it all going, and to make our community much more beautiful. And thank you, the board, for what you're doing. So hopefully you vote yes.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? No questions or comments? Call the
Okay.
vote, please.
Alrighty, David Balin absent, Hilda Sarkisian,
Yes.
Jason Hector,
Yes.
Becky Levesque, yes, Jennifer Abraham.
Yes.
Christine DeMerchant,
Yes.
Gabriel Conley.
Yes.
And Bright Erics.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. Next item is item number 14, discussion and motion to change the meeting times for all future PRNC board meetings to a new start time of 6 PM and end time at 9:15.
I second that.
Thank
Why,
you, Hilda.
why?
Why for which part? 6 o'clock or 9:15?
9:15, why?
9:15, is that too late or too early?
Too late.
Too late? Because we have a lot of, well, our goal is to be out by 9:15. If you remember 3 years ago, we had meetings passing 11 o'clock.
That's 11.
So now we're putting the hard stop at 9:15, so at 9:15, pretty much the meeting ends. And
But in this
everything else,
place, they want you to leave before 8
that's,
o'clock?
that's in future meetings,
Okay.
once we have our actual location. Do we have any other comments or questions? All right, I made the motion, Hilda made a second, you may call the vote.
Okay.
I second.
We got a second.
Did you?
Okay, hold on a second
This is at whatever
Okay,
location.
Whatever location.
here. David Balin is absent. Hilda Sarkisian.
Yes.
Okay, Jason Hector,
Yes.
Becky Levesque. Yes.
Why is she not
Where is
answering?
she? Jennifer Abraham. Yes. Oh,
It is too late. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, I know.
We have small kids.
Christine DeMercian.
Yes.
Okay, Gabriel Conley.
Yes.
And Bright Erics.
Yes.
Okay,
No more 11 o'clock meetings? It's official. All right. Next item is discussion and possible action to hold a candidate forum for the 2023 PRNC elections and to allocate up to $500 for snacks, drinks, and cleaning fee. That's my motion. Do we have a second? Then we go to discussion.
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, discussion. Any board comments, questions?
I'll just jump in and say,
Yes.
so we're working on the application for the schools, so I'm gonna give that to Gabriel for Castle Bay, and I think we'll try to apply for PRCS as well.
Okay,
Um,
just in case it would have
For
been
the
vineyards.
election?
No, for meeting.
For our meetings, and then we also need somebody to meet for committees too. You know, if a committee wants to have a meeting, well, I guess they could do it at Starbucks or something. But for the regular board meeting, we're trying to apply through this whole next year, like all of 2024 even, until like July. And then now that we set the time, so I just wanted to let everybody know we're in the process of submitting that paperwork for the schools. Hopefully we can get approved for Castle Bay or PRCS.
Or vineyards.
Vineyards is a lot tougher out.
Been a
Does everybody know the problem we're going through with vineyards? It's, yeah, the city attorney doesn't want to sign their paperwork, the vineyards has, which is typical when you go somewhere, they have their own paperwork. So they don't want to sign it, they want them to sign the city's paperwork. So, you know, we're gonna really have to push back, we're gonna meet with the city attorney because it's not appropriate when you lease an apartment from somebody, you sign, they provide the paperwork, so there needs to be some kind of, and they don't give us any answer, they didn't say why, they didn't say, oh, we don't like this clause in here, they just say no. And it was the day before the meeting, right?
Yeah.
It was like the day before the meeting, and it's really embarrassing that all of our stakeholders, you know, we have to send these, so that's our situation, but just know, like, we're gonna push hard on this issue. It's not just us that's having a problem with this.
Yeah, pretty much neither party wants to agree on the other party's contract,
Yeah.
so we're at a stalemate.
Do they also have to approve where the committee meets?
The committee, everything, if we were able to meet at the vineyards, everything could meet there. We were gonna pay them $50 a month, which is a great price,
Right.
and we were able to meet there whenever we need to, and in the big room, and we had all the equipment, the internet there ready to go. But we can't meet there until both sides agree.
But we better get back to the motion.
Right, yeah.
Because
Yeah, what is the
Okay.
motion?
the motion is regarding having the election
Yeah, exactly.
forum. Sorry,
Which
that was
number
my
is it?
fault. I
No,
sidetracked.
Number 15,
15.
Okay.
yes.
The election.
And we had Jennifer, no, Not Jennifer, Christine made a second.
I got that,
Now we're
okay.
gonna vote.
And, yeah, and this is basically, my goal is, a lot of people do not know the members that are running. And I think it's a good idea to actually meet and ask questions to the candidates before the elections day, which is next month. Some of you or some of the stakeholders might know some of the board members. I believe some people are running from the board and some people are running from the audience. But it's good to at least know who they are before you vote them because you like their name or you like their look or whatever the case is. You know, get to know the person, ask questions. That's my goal.
How do you
And we're
like a
hoping-
name?
Sorry?
You said you like the name, how do you like a name?
She's on you, man.
We're trying to be very
We like
fair.
the
Like,
name.
Cut the guy some slack.
A name.
so the goal is to try to pass the motion today to try to meet. I can't promise we'll have a place to meet, and I can't promise it's gonna happen, or at least we can vote on it today to try to make it happen, is the goal.
Do you have a question?
I'm sorry, can we also vote on the date
The date,
that would be
That's
held?
a sign.
The date we can, to be determined.
Okay.
We don't need to vote on the actual
Okay.
date, just the
Okay.
event. But would this potentially be a Zoom meeting if we can't get
we
a?
could, yeah, I don't see why not.
Because maybe you want to amend it to say either in person or,
You want me to make that amendment?
yeah, I mean,
There's
that's
a
fine.
second already. so you can call
Well,
it.
let's see what else we have.
But what use is it when you do it on Zoom?
What loses?
What use?
Oh, what uses it?
Right.
It's, at least you get to ask the questions to straight, to person. So everybody will be there in an actual meeting style room. And everybody will be in the same room to ask questions back and forth. Instead of, if you remember the old meetings, the public, we can't see the public unless we bring them into the room.
Yes, yes.
We'll have maybe almost like everybody in the main room. Everybody can see each other, everybody can talk to each other.
How do Polaroid actually know that people, there's going to be an election and people are going to run for positions? How do Polaroid know?
I know the city clerk sent out a flyer to all the stakeholders in Porter Ranch to alert them of the upcoming election.
John Lee sent an email.
John Lee sent an email
Yeah,
to
I
them.
received an email.
On his newsletter.
Right. Now, could there be more outreach done? Yes.
Do individuals have to campaign?
We have been sending out our emails as well. You could campaign, you are one of the candidates, I remember too.
Yeah, I used to campaign and.
Yeah, but this year, because of
Many
COVID
things have
last year.
changed. And
Yes, they have. It's definitely challenging. I predict very low turnout. Do everything you can to get your votes, I assume, and if we can have a candidate forum, at least everybody will know who everybody is. Yes, sir.
I think you're a little late to have an in-person event because you will not get that
30 days.
approved through city clerk.
The in-person one?
Yeah, so
Why
I
is that?
highly recommend
Why
you
not?
stick with virtual. The reason is city clerk requires 30 days to approve an event.
We need like an exception,
You may get it and you may not,
special.
but I would highly recommend you do it virtual.
Or we can call it a special meeting, can't we?
If you call it a special meeting, you might be able to get through with it.
Okay. So you want to make that amendment to have either or?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
for coming.
Bye, thank you.
Maybe I better
Thanks
not,
for
because I'm
coming.
a candidate.
Are you alright? I'll amend the motion to have it in person or on Zoom, whatever is possible to do. Do we have a second on the amended motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
If you build it by Zoom, are you gonna bring snacks to everybody?
We're gonna spend all $500.
It'll be e-snacks.
I don't like from person because I don't
Gonna
like
buy
Zoom.
those
I agree.
NFTs.
Let's see what we can do. If we call a special meeting, we will. Any other comments?
Can the candidates, I mean, in the last election, we handed out like, personally, 3,000 or 4,000 flyers. Are any of the candidates?
They can do whatever they want for the election, independently,
Okay.
correct?
And are we doing any flyer type of outreach to get people to vote?
We passed the motion 3 months ago. If we wanted to do that, we may go ahead and do that. It's
So
already.
there's been no like written word given to the public to let
No.
them know we're having an election? Okay.
Other than what was sent out by our newsletters, John Lee's newsletters,
all done
and
on
the
the
city
computer,
clerks,
it's all-
correct?
But nothing that,
Nothing on written,
that
on
you
paper
can
yet.
check. Okay.
Any other comments, questions? All right, so make sure,
I did it.
and then change afterwards, because I made the amended motion.
Oh,
Amended-
Hilda.
okay, amended. All right, go ahead, call the vote.
Alrighty, David Balin is absent, Hilda Sarkisian,
Yes.
Jason Hector.
Abstain?
Where is he? Recused.
No,
Hold on a second. Becky Levesque, yes. Jennifer Everman?
I have to abstain, correct?
What is the
you have to,
proposal?
but you can't.
I know,
We
it's
can-
abstain.
You don't have to.
No, David's out.
Yeah.
I
To
mean,
be on the safe side.
I'm a candidate, so I'll just,
Christine?
It's up to you.
Yes.
I didn't have to say
Yes.
it's right about it.
Christine? Yes. And Gabriel?
Yes,
Okay. And Bright
Yes,
abstains.
no, you said yes.
He said yes.
I said yes, because I have no knowledge of it prior.
So 5 and motion passes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item is discussion of motion to approve up to $2,000 to purchase shirts and hats with PRNC logos printed on them for outreach and giveaways to be used at future events and functions.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Hilda.
That was Hilda.
Yes. Any questions or comments from the board? Public comments?
Let's do it.
Good. All right, call the vote. Number 16.
All right. David Balin absent. Hilda Sarkisian?
Yes.
Jason Hector?
Yes.
Becky Levesque, yes. Jennifer Abraham?
yes.
Christine Demercian? Yes. Okay, and Bright Erics?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Gabriel, yes.
And Gabriel.
Thank you. And next item, treasurer?
The budget, okay. All right,
We're on number six,
Seventeen.
number 17.
17. Yeah, so I put this together because who knows if we're gonna be able to meet next month. But we do need to approve a budget for next fiscal year. And, actually, hold on, let's see, if we just put up, what I have here. The budget is right there. It's very similar to last year. I just had to kind of, let me pull that up here, hold on 1 second. So everybody's listed on there. The only thing I had to change was, Jennifer, you're the second signer, right?
Yes.
Okay, I fixed that. And Gabriel, you're the alternate signer?
That is correct.
Okay, I had you guys switch, so that's all. So that's all corrected, and then, I'm the first card holder, Gabriel's the second card holder, and then, welcome, Mr. Balin. How much money? If you go to let's see, so page 8 is where you have all our regular expenses, storage, office supplies, web hosting, email services, printing, photocopy, meeting facility fees, software licensing, that's for the Microsoft that we use. And then outreach, we put $2,000 for outreach. And then election, I didn't put anything in for election because we don't have election, right? We don't have to worry about election. Okay, and then NPG, what was left, I split between NPG and community improvement projects, so that's 6,000. So keep it for each one. So keep in mind when we get our rollover funds, we're gonna put more money allocated towards, and we won't have to do any more towards operational because that's covered. We'll just add it to either outreach, NPG, or CIPs. And I'm on page 10, like 8, 9, and 10 are the main pages here.
No, that's
Here,
this one.
you can read my, okay, okay. Sorry. I tried. You want- Sorry. So, that's the way it's allocated.
And it should be copied back there too.
That is one. These are all the operational expenses, and those total, most of our stuff is operational, almost 18,000. That's just keeping everything going. Outreach 2,000, and then NPG 6,000, CIP 6,000. And so, yeah, when we get rollover funds, then we'll allocate those probably most likely to those two categories.
Right.
Or maybe more to NPGs. if we get a lot of this work done in the parks, we won't have as much, you know, so, but these can all be moved around, and this is just a guide, you know, as we go along. And then I put vineyards down for the meeting location. So I'm hoping that we can secure the vineyards. And then storage, et cetera, US Postal Service, more business results, and that's it. So this way we're good. Like, if once we approve this budget, they're not gonna be able to give us a hard time at the city clerk's office. Already today, we got an email regarding our past due MERs, so we voted on both of those. So now we're good. So I wanted to make sure we get like everything taken care of, just in case we aren't able to, you know, we have some kind of snafu where we can't get together, we don't have a room, whatever it may be. So that's the situation. Any questions on the budget?
Yes, I do. Last time, I think 3 months ago, we had a meeting and we wanted this budget to be increased. We requested some increase.
So that's the budget, that's the money that we get from the city, which we have no control over that. And they didn't do it, so regarding that, like, we had asked for what, 50 or 80 or 70? They didn't give us any more. They gave us like the same. I checked the mayor's budget, right, it says the same. And they approved the mayor's budget, or they approved the mayor's budget, so they're not giving us any more money. So we're gonna get 32 next year, that's what this is covering. The 32 that we're getting in, maybe we get it in, what, in July? Or
Hey, Jason?
Yeah.
Have we checked CD12 yet?
So anyways, that's the breakdown. Any questions or comments or?
I'll make a second on that.
Okay.
And, okay.
I'll make the motion and give it a second.
Do we have any comments, questions from the board? Stakeholders? Nothing? All right.
Okay, call for the vote. David Balin,
Yes.
Jason Hector,
Yes.
Becky Levesque, yes, Jennifer Abraham,
Yes.
Christine DeMercian,
Yes.
Gabriel Conlon.
Yes.
Bright Erics.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
You need.
Oh, Hilda, how come I'm missing you?
I don't know. You just
Because-
been-
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. She not on this,
Yeah, your sheet is missing people. Closer.
no, this is a
You want to do this one?
Okay, got it.
That's-
It passed.
All right.
All right, next item.
2 minutes.
Christine, you already.
Motion- Motion to approve March 8th, 2023 meeting draft minutes.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Oh, I know already. Just don't go to
All right, any questions or comments?
Who was the note taker on those?
That was Margaret.
She did a good job.
She did the more good, and it comes to me, I edit it, and you go match it with the video and the notes I have, and then it comes to the board. So, I hope so.
I think they spelled Colin's name wrong.
Did they?
You got one out?
I saw it.
All right, you ready?
Okay,
So Gabriel.
who, were you
No,
number,
Jen-
you were
Christine made the
two?
motion, I made second.
I second that.
Oh,
Jason seconded it, or you firsted?
no.
I think Christine.
Christine motion.
Okay. All right. David Balin,
Yes.
Hilda Sarkeesian,
Yes.
Jason Hector,
Yes.
Becky Levesque, yes, Jennifer Abraham,
Yes.
Christine DeMercian, yes, Gabriel Conlon.
Yes,
Bright Erics.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes unanimously.
thank you. All right, we're almost done, wow.
Moving fast.
Item number 19, updates from board members and committees.
We're already here.
Any board members have any comments?
No, just happy to be here.
That's great.
Yes. I know in those days, I used to hold my meeting here, as the back committee meeting.
Committee, yes.
Yes, I used to hold it here in this place. Now that we are back to in person, can committees be holding? This is a public library and secure a place so we can meet here.
It has to be pre-arranged, but it's possible
of
to meet
course, yes.
short meetings in here, but they don't want us holding long meetings in here.
Oh, no, but, you know, it's
They let us do it on a one time.
Right.
they let us do it on a one-time basis, but they said if you want to do regular meetings, then we have to do some paperwork and we have to pay.
Oh, really?
Which we're okay with doing that, but then they kind of also told us that they really don't want to be having, so I was like kind of confused by the last part of it.
So if we need to, we can meet here.
So
Phone
we can
meetings.
submit the paperwork and on the back
Right.
end, and then, you know, if they approve our paperwork, then we're meeting. So, yeah, we should probably apply for the library too.
Okay.
But committees can also meet at Starbucks,
Right.
right? At
Starbucks,
Pillars.
Pillars, which is at the Shepherd Hills Church.
Right.
There's plenty of
It's
room.
gonna be a lot easier.
They're very open to allowing people for meetings there.
Meetings, right.
So,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
would recommend that.
and they don't
It's
charge.
really easy.
Unless
Free
you
is
use-
always good.
Unless you use a community room, so outside or you're good. So-
Yeah.
Any other, yes?
The Public Safety Committee, we're in Porter Ranch, there is been a real serious problem with home invasion robberies. They usually enter through the back. They break your sliding glass door or your windows. If you have any cushions on your patio, they're using the cushion to push in on the window to break it so they don't hurt themselves. They're usually happening, Mickey, you probably know way more about this than I do, but they usually
Yeah,
happen
Mickey.
in the early evening, anywhere from like 5 o'clock until like 1 in the morning. They're 7 days a week. Some days that they're hitting a little bit harder than other days. And what they do is they get cars and they watch who's coming and going from their residence. Once they leave, they enter through the side, so they're recommending everybody lock your side gates and lock your kitchen doors, and even put a film over your glass window so they can't be broken into. So that's something that we need to make sure that we let all the residents here know, because that's what's being targeted. And with the opening, of the Reseda off-ramp, that gives them a little bit of a quicker access to Porter Ranch. And last couple of weeks ago, John Parker, our senior lead officer, he holds in-person meetings once a month. It was 60 people there.
Wow.
In person. It was
Right.
amazing. I didn't recognize too many people. There were people from Porter Ranch, and there were a group of residents just below the freeway. I think David, you spoke with them as well, who's were being targeted by those daytime residential burglaries, and they were all at the meeting. So it was really nice to see in person, and the dialogue between the senior lead officer and the residents, and it went on for about 2 hours at St. Euphrasia. And I really encourage people, whether you live in Chatsworth, Porter Ranch, Ridge, Granada Hills, go to that meeting because it addresses all the issues. It was really amazing.
Right.
So keep your doors and windows locked, be aware. What I do, and then I'm going to close, when I leave my house, being with the police department in different volunteer organizations forever, I drive my car around the block. When I leave my house, I go around the block and I come back again to see if anybody pulled up. That's number one. And just be aware of who's in your neighborhood. I should have asked you to bring those signs tonight. Put neighborhood watch signs on your windows. That big one in my front room.
Yeah.
And just be aware of what's going on in your neighborhood. Thank you.
The police gave us once those signs, and I still have them in my house.
Yeah, I do
In
too.
one of the meetings,
Yeah.
long time ago,
Yeah.
maybe 2 years ago, before everything bad happened.
Well, the city has made it very difficult to put it up. In a lot of Porter Ranch, we have them on our streetlights.
Yeah.
But the city now, it's very difficult it's a huge process to put them there. So
It
it's
is.
just put them in your front room window.
Yeah,
It's- That works too.
Let me piggyback off of Becky. So Becky's correct on that. But we also have our senior lead officer, Efren, who's up here.
Correct.
And maybe we can,
Yeah.
Carl, we can go ahead and we can post both of their meetings on our website.
It's on there
It's
already.
Zoom,
on there
it's
already.
Zoom
Both of
meeting.
them are?
I don't
Yeah.
like Zoom.
There
He
you go.
doesn't do it in person.
No.
I don't mean
No, he does it
No,
Zoom
he
now.
does- he
Efren
does
Corral?
understand adding to that, so he does two. So you can do 2 for 1.
He Zooms it.
Yeah, we won't talk about his last Zoom, okay?
Any other board member comments?
I'll just say one thing. The making movies with Matter, is really extraordinary. I was very impressed. And the really thing that I liked about it was there was one kid who was homeless that was talking about, his experience at the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission. And the cool thing that they did, it was all schools, so it was like elementary, middle school, and high school. But what they've done is, because my daughter's in the choir, so she actually got included. And they call it middle school, but it was so cool that they brought in PALS, they brought in San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission, New Horizons, and the choir. And so you didn't even necessarily have to even be in a school, and sometimes your school's not involved. Like the Castle Bay didn't put any videos in, but it's pretty cool. They submit the videos, and they played all the videos that the kids made, and they were just amazing. I mean, dealing with the issues like depression and bullying, and it was a really a great event, and I was really impressed at the way it was run. And it was my first time going to the Soraya. I mean, it's such a fantastic venue, and these guys were all there, and I just wanted to tell Ron, kudos to him.
I absolutely will. Thank you.
Good job, guys. It was so much fun, though. That was a lot of these things we go to. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
We need more Port Ranch schools involved.
Yeah.
Participate. I don't think
Yeah,
we
next
need more
year,
involved. So
I want to get it, yeah. So, that's the
I
next
think that's up to the schools, right? I'm assuming to participate. I gotta push them. And
Everybody's welcome.
with no further comments, let's go ahead. Yes.
I'm reluctant to say something in public comment.
Okay.
That the Chatsworth Neighborhood Council Day of the Horse is finally got approved by the city attorney and funded after 8 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's,
we got 6 more months.
it is on Sunday, June the 11th. From 11 to 3.
What's that?
The Day of the Horse, it's the 19th year. It is, it celebrates the equestrian heritage in Chatsworth. They have crafts for kids. There's kids get to decorate a stick horse, and they have a stick horse race for the kids. There are also demonstrations by equestrians, like real horses, and it includes lunch, totally free lunch.
And ice cream, I remember.
Ice cream.
And it's at the ranch, right?
And it is at Ride-On Therapeutic Horsemanship, which is on Topanga. There's not parking unless you park on Topanga, which is definitely not suggested. But if you go to the train depot on Devonshire across from Rouse, if you don't know the train depot, we have a shuttle provided by John's office that you can park at the train station, take the free shuttle over to the location.
Yeah.
And anybody who has kids, it's really good for kids. There are also some vendors, some booths, and kids really like it. And it's amazing the number of not only kids but adults who don't know that a horse is a really big live animal. It's not just something you see on a TV screen or a movie screen or in a book. And so it's a good event. We'll send you a flyer that you can.
Sounds good, and I will post it.
Congratulations on getting that approved.
Yeah.
Why did it take after 17 years?
Any advice
months
to us?
It's the 19th year. Because the city had paperwork that
It's the same thing,
they
right?
demanded to be
The same
signed.
concept, right?
And the owner of the property
Of course.
refused to sign the
Same
city's
issue.
paperwork.
Oh my.
Can you imagine?
Oh, we're going through it, so I know.
Yeah.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna make all you sign paperwork, just come in the meeting.
And it's such a great event.
Yeah, it is.
Amazing.
Any other? Yes, sir.
If you don't mind, I think I will bring it up. If anybody doesn't know, I think David knows, and I think a few of us here know.
Yeah.
The current issue in the city, one of the current issues in the city with regards to the people, is that the city controller, and you might want to look into this, the city controller is looking into defunding helicopters.
Right.
It is an extremely bad idea.
For the LAPD?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about it.
And
Yes, of course.
everyone needs to be aware of it. You need to stand diligent here and get engaged. The damage that would do would be insurmountable. You can't believe how much damage that would do if there were not helicopters in the sky protecting us. And you may even want to ask the LAPD air support to come in and do a presentation. It's a good presentation, he does a good job.
Great job.
You should-
Yeah, Tarek was very good.
So be aware, and you know, this is a personal perspective. All of our elected officials are not supporting us. They are not doing a good job, and we need to be very diligent at dealing with them. And I don't care whether it's a councilman or the city attorney, and the things that you're talking about are all coming from these new elected officials who are not paying attention to what we need as citizens. And it's putting us all in danger. Thanks.
Do they give you a reason why they are reducing?
They don't have to, they're,
Why do you have to? They
they're
have to.
elected officials, they don't have to tell you anything.
No, they should.
Yeah, of course they should, but they don't have to.
Shouldn't.
Then kick them out.
And just to add what Brian said, it's a very small digit in the budget.
Yes,
It's not a big
it's
amount.
not even a percent.
Right.
There
We
has to
just
be a reason why they
randomly
say
cut
no.
it.
Yeah.
They're not making money out of it. Give them some money. Shut them up.
Let's go on to the next agenda item, which is, next meeting is on June 14, hopefully. And with no further
Gabriel's
objection.
house.
Right. The meeting, let's adjourn the meeting at 7:10 PM. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you.
Right.
For record, you announced it last
Now, let's go.
night.
All right.